Welcome to the Rev-Trac real-world integration demo video. This demo will show you the integration of Rev-Trac with ServiceNow and Tricentis Tosca at a German insurance company. Before we jump to the live demo, let me show you the workflow schema to get a better understanding of what follows. And let me mention this up front. This is only one example of a process. Every customer is different, and all the tools, including the integration interfaces, are therefore highly configurable. It all starts in ServiceNow, either with an incident or a request. At a certain point, the responsible person concludes then that the change on the SAP environment is necessary. It all starts in ServiceNow, either with an incident or a request. At a certain point, the responsible person concludes that a change on the SAP environment is necessary. By choosing the Create Rev-Trac Ticket menu entry in ServiceNow, which is then available, the user triggers the interface to create a new Rev-Trac ticket. The whole change is then in status in development, and of course information is also flowing back to ServiceNow. By the way, when I say developing, it includes every change, also customizing. The developer can create transports by using the newly created Rev-Trac ticket number. When they are finished, they approve the Rev-Trac change to migrate to SIT. On a side note, the customer runs a 4-tier landscape, where SIT is their system integration testing environment and UAT the user acceptance environment. After the approval, Rev-Trac releases the transport and automatically puts all related transports into Rev-Trac's transport queue, and a triggered input job starts the import to the target system. After the import has been finished successfully, Rev-Trac approves the next step, usually called in SIT, again automatically. The owner of the Rev-Trac ticket gets a workflow message by email usually that they can proceed then. First, the functional tests, usually manual tests, have to be done manually by the developer. After the developer signs the func test done step, Rev-Trac triggers Tosca in the background, which runs the dedicated test and sends back the result to Rev-Trac. Depending on the result, the step SIT successful will be approved or rejected automatically. The next steps are quite similar. The approval of migrate to UAT again triggers the import of the transports, this time to the UAT system. And as soon as this was successfully done, Rev-Trac triggers Tosca to run the UAT tests. Again, they will approve automatically the step UAT done or reject in case of a failure. UAT done will also trigger the creation of a ServiceNow change request, which is needed to approve to production. Again, this is done via the interface. This time, Rev-Trac creates the ServiceNow ticket. The ServiceNow change request has to be approved by the change management in ServiceNow. In case of a standard type, which we choose for the demo, this happens automatically. ServiceNow then sends this approval back to Rev-Trac, where the corresponding status approved for production is being signed automatically. This in return triggers workflow messages to the responsible operations team, who then need to send the transports to production. Again, it's an approval. And finally, the Rev-Trac ticket gets closed, and with it so does the ServiceNow change request and the incident. Alright, so let's go to the demo. So it all starts in ServiceNow by filling out all the required fields to create an incident. You maybe saw the assignment group, the SAP FICO, and now you have the Create Rev-Trac ticket menu entry here. So this has been chosen, and you see now that the interface already worked. Rev-Trac details brought back the Rev-Trac request number. Now we are in Rev-Trac. This is Rev-Trac's web GUI. User logs in by single sign-on in that case, and we see the dashboard, entry dashboard. Now we enter the Rev-Trac request number that we got in ServiceNow, and you see here the created Rev-Trac request ticket. It has a short workflow because at that point the developer has to decide which is the type of the request. You see also the incident, which is linked here, the ServiceNow incident, and go back to the details. Yeah, now the user changes the type of the request, which will be a standard type for this demo, so everything goes quicker. Chooses the type of the standard change, saves that, and you see here now quickly the complete workflow, enters the programmer so that it's possible to change something for that person. See, the next step to sign is the in development step, and as soon as that has been signed, it's possible to create transports, and also you will see here now the status is reverted back to ServiceNow in dev, and the standard type is shown here, and also the template that has been chosen. Yeah, going back to Rev-Trac, now developing starts. So you create a change. Now this is a Rev-Trac demo table that is also for testing purpose. Creating a transport all the time invokes the Rev-Trac enforcement window, so you have to provide this change request, otherwise you're not getting a transport in the system anymore. So that means Rev-Trac can enforce the whole process, and therefore all the audit trail and so forth. Now the transport is there, you see it linked to the Rev-Trac change request, and it's not released. Also you see the contents here in the components area. Now the approval goes on. You see here, yeah, developer also choose the Tosca SIT test scenario. Now the migration hooks in. You see here the target system with the migrate to SIT, and then Rev-Trac runs several technical checks like ATC, a dependency check, and impact analysis, and so forth. And after the approval has been done, transport gets released in the background and put in Rev-Trac's queue, and you see the import already started. Input's done successfully, return code 0, and you see in SIT has been signed automatically. The next step is now this functional test, which is a manual test done by the developer. This manual test, as soon as it is approved, it starts and hooks off in the Tosca test environment. You see here now the event monitor of the Tosca test suite, so that we can watch what's going on, and you see here the smoke test that has been chosen has been started. We see here also in Rev-Trac the reference as the test is submitted. This is the XML file that Tosca needs to kick off the tests remotely. Back to Tosca. Should be done soon. Yes, there, one test is passed, so this test has been passed successfully. This information now will be sent back to Rev-Trac. We'll see that shortly. So refresh, you see test passed, perfect. Test SIT successful is now green, so that has been signed automatically. You see here the complete change log, and the auto test user, so a technical user, has signed that step. Perfect. The rest of the story is as usual, same step to UAT, to the user acceptance environment. Again, the technical checks of Rev-Trac jump in. There's also an overtaker check part of it. Again, transports go into Rev-Trac's transport queue. The migration kicks off, triggered, and as soon as they get imported successfully, the in UAT is signed. And then we have the UAT test, which is now in the demo manually done. but it's also implemented that it can be done by Tosca as well here. So signed again here manually, and UAT test invokes the creation of a ServiceNow change request. We will see that in the references tab soon. There it is, the change request link. This is clickable, I think. We'll do it. Yeah, you see the approve for production is already done. Thanks. Click on the link in Rev-Trac, brings us directly to ServiceNow, to the change request, and shows the change request and all its settings. Yeah, you see here the state is open, all the Rev-Trac details again, the ticket number of Rev-Trac, who has done the approvals, and so on. State is still open. And now we can go on. Meanwhile, I think the so-called SMO team, the operations team, will approve the migrate to production step soon and bring the whole thing into the production system. Right. Again, a look at the workflow. So the SMO team is still due to do it. Yes, and there it's set to migrate to production. Thanks to the SMO team. Again, it's in the queue. Get imported. Successfully done. Coming back, it's in production now, and the next and final step is the incomplete state. Coming back, the change request is still open. It's approved. There we have, the Rev-Trac things number. Now set it to complete, which closes the Rev-Trac ticket and again sends back the message to the ServiceNow ticket. The change request in that case you see it's now closed. Yeah, we have some closure information also there on the ticket, which will be shown shortly. Yes, who closed it and at what time. The closed by user, by the way, is the guy who approved the migration to the production, and the SMO operations team has done it. Yeah. So you get all the have all the information for the audit team in the ServiceNow change request, and also the corresponding information, the Rev-Trac ticket on the SAP side. Also here a last view at Tosca. The results are now also converted to an HTML file, which is far better readable. So it's a quick view into the results, and of course can be drilled down when you go to Tosca directly. Yeah, that's it. Hope you liked it. If you need more information, don't hesitate to call us or drop us an email. We will come back to you. Thanks, and have a good day.